9.
I'm still going with it. Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's what I'm still going with. I had to look. It's January 9th. Oh my God. Can we still say Happy New Year? I think we can, because we want you to have a happy New Year. We took a nice long break. We haven't been doing this for a little bit. We took a nice holiday break, rest, recovered, had some ups and downs, but we are back serving you in this Infinite Daily Live. And strategy. We're starting at the top of the year with strategy, because I know you are probably planning, or you should at least be planning, what your year is going to look like. And I always find it interesting when we talk about strategy and planning and launching and building and looking at our services and our products and our offers. Now's the time where two trains of thought. One, you might not be building new. You might be doing what we did this past year, which was strip away, going, I don't want to do that anymore. That's not something that my heart's not in that. That took way too much time. That did not produce the results that we wanted. Sometimes the most simplest strategy is just stripping away and not doing some of the things you were doing to really focus and streamline. But if you're building something new, if you've been inspired to change up your products or your services, there's one really important piece that we talk to our clients about that I think most people miss. And we were on a client call last year, and a client was building out a course. And she was in the woo-woo space, and she happened to connect with a fellow copywriter, not from our team, who she really liked the way she wrote copy. So she said, do you guys at Infinite Design House, do you play well with others? Like, can I bring in this copywriter? And we're like, of course, right? Because it's not about us.
No.
It's about the client. If you really resonate with this copywriter, bring him in. Let's let them take care of that. We can all collaborate and work together. And long story short, she started to go into strategy, this copywriter. And she's like, you got to have, you should do this course live, and you should go live for 14 days, every single day at the same time, teach your thing. And I could just see our clients, like the blood was draining from her face, right? And knowing that client, because we had worked together for quite some time, I knew she hated being live. She hated doing video. She hated being on camera. And I could see her just nodding, going, And I just said, wait, stop. I have a very simple, basic question. Client, do you want to go live every day for 14 days? And she's like, no. So that's the trap, is that you see the way someone else does it and you go, that's the way I have to do it. Or someone is giving you advice and telling you this is how you have to do it. And you're going, but that doesn't feel, that's not fun for me.
That's not what I want to do.
That's not what I want to do. And that age-old phrase, if it's not fun, I'm done, I really think is important, because there's nothing worse than on paper things looking good, meaning it's making you income. Like, we've all had the client that's driven us crazy.
Yes.
In our time being a business owner, right?
Maybe you haven't.
Or if you haven't, you're like, ooh, they're going to pay me X, or that I could really do this. And then it's just horrific working with them. And you realize that no amount of money, it's no different than if you work a job. You work a crappy job, but it pays you well. You're like, no amount of money is worth the therapy and the strain, and my mental health is more important, right? So as I see the blood draining from her face, and I asked her, do you want to go live every day? Absolutely not. Then don't do it. Then there's a different way that we can strategize and brainstorm around what aligns with you. Because if you don't love it, you won't continue to do it.
Yeah.
And longevity is the name of the game in any business, right? I remember our mentor, Bo Eason, telling us about sprinters. We used to train with Leroy Dixon, who was like, I don't know why they did that. We would have mastermind events, and
he's beat
Usain Bolt. He's like one of the fastest sprinters, and he would come and lead a workout, and I'm like with my inhaler, like, God save me, I hope I survive, right, kind of thing. And he was saying the trick to sprinters, when you're watching a race, I always found this so fascinating. And it looks like somebody ekes out in the last like 10 seconds to win the race. And you think they speed up and that's why they win. And it's actually the opposite. Everybody else putters out.
Slows down.
Everybody else slows down. And that sprinter just happens to keep a consistent pace. They don't decelerate as fast as other people are decelerating. So it's not about accelerating, it's about decelerating. And I always found that really fascinating in online business because if you're not doing what you love, you will decelerate. And then it's like there's nothing worse than having to go back to the drawing board in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think that piece of checking in with your gut and going like, do I want to do that? Do I want to do a group coaching program? Do I want to speak on stages all around the world? Do I want to write an ebook? Do I want to write a book? Do I want to spend tens of thousands of dollars creating whatever it is? You know, when someone tells you it has to be this way and you're going, but that doesn't align with me, that's, I think, a big piece to go, you know what, this isn't, I gotta be true to myself.
Yeah. And then think about the pros and cons. I think it's like, it's no different than like, I don't know, buying a car. You know, you'll go and you'll look at 10 different cars and you'll say, I love this, I hate this, I don't love this, but we won't do it when we make a business decision. You know, we actually won't sit down and say, okay, well, this is gonna be positive, this is gonna be negative. Well, then the negatives outweigh the positive. Well, like Lisa said, you're gonna decelerate then. You're gonna do it for 6 months or a year, and you're gonna go, crap.
No,
I don't want to do this anymore.
And there's nothing worse than when people are saying to you, like, oh my God, I love that program. That was so good. And in your heart, you're thinking, well, I don't love it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Something doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah. So the question that I want to end with that I want you to think about is something I used in nursing when I was a nurse for many years. I was an ICU nurse and did all of that before being an entrepreneur and fitness instructor and all the things that I've done that you've helped me build, which has been awesome. When we were doing treatments and we weren't getting the result that we wanted, we would be looking at all the labs and the vitals and the statistics and the tests and all the data was in front of us. And then I used to go, hang on. Does this make sense? Like, I know that we can do and we're able to. It's not a question of can we. It's that just because you can doesn't always mean that you should. And does this make sense is always the question that I gut check myself with when I'm blinded by the opportunity, the money, the people, the connections, the, you know, whatever the juicy goodness is. I start to go, does this make sense? So that's the question I want you to use when you're strategizing whatever you're doing this year in business.
And one last thing that brought up for me too was everything may check off the boxes when you start it. Everything. You may start it and just be like, this is a dream come true. That may change in 3 months. That may change in 6 months. If it does change, go back and say, you might have to say no at that point, and that's okay. Yeah, you rebuild, you restructure. That's okay. Totally. Agreed. That's what we got for you today. I'm going to say it again on January 9th. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm just going to keep saying that like all year. It's going to be like May, and I'm going to be like, Happy New Year. Yeah, does that ever, I always hate that. You're like, when do you stop saying Happy New Year? Whenever I guess February. You want to. Whenever you want to. All right, guys. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.